Hey guys, welcome back to my space. My name is Nancy, and if you've watched the previous videos, we've been on the lookout. We've been on the search for a name, and we've already decided on something. We have decided to call ourselves Confessions of an Evolving Millennial. We decided to just start and figure it as we go. Even these videos, guys, please don't judge me about maybe the quality, or sometimes maybe the music is too loud in the background and whatnot. We will look back one day and we're gonna see, hey, we've come from far. But the most important thing is we started. That's what matters. Okay. Yeah, so anyway, welcome to Confessions of an Evolving Millennial. I've already mentioned the reason why we are calling it in our previous videos, so check that out so that you can find out. And today's confession is revolving around lessons and regrets that I have from getting married and divorced in my 20s. If you don't already know, I got married at the age of 24 years old. Sweet age of 24 years old. And there are a lot of lessons that I got to learn from that experience that I'd want to share with you guys. And disclaimer, please, I think and I believe that these are lessons that I learned from my personal experience. I feel like it might not apply to every single person, and that's okay. I think that's why each and every person has their own journey and their own path. But personally for me, these are the lessons that I personally learned. Yeah, and I'd want to share with them because maybe there's one or two people out there who might get something from it. Okay? Yeah, so let's dive right in. Lesson number one is the importance of knowing yourself first before you commit to someone else. Looking back, I can say that for sure, personally for me, I did not know myself well enough to make a decision of getting married at the age of 24 years old. I thought I knew myself, but I couldn't have been more wrong, especially because I didn't even know what career path I wanted to get into. There's so many things that I just didn't know about. The things, like the aspirations that I have personally, I feel like I allowed myself to be carried away by the aspirations of this other person. And that was like my mistake, because I should have been the one who was doing the work to get to know myself and to know my dreams and my goals and whatnot. And I think what that does when you commit to someone before you know yourself is that you can easily get lost into their life. You know what I mean? Into their aspirations. And yeah, I think each and every single person was created for a purpose individually, you know, and we are all here to accomplish something and to impact this world in one way or another. And I just feel like that's not something I knew at the age of 24 years old. And I feel like that's a regret that I have, is that I did not know myself well enough at that age to make such a decision, okay? But I also know and I'm aware that there are people, even at the age of 20 or 24, they are well adjusted enough to have an idea of exactly what they want out of life. And there are people who've gotten married at that age and it has worked well, and they are still married, or they've been married for so many years. So this is not to say that just because you're a certain age, like it determines if you know yourself or not. It's purely dependent on like the effort maybe you've put in to know yourself, or maybe even the environment that you grew up in, because there are people who've probably grown up in environments that have really reinforced their identity and who they are as a person. So by the time maybe they are 20, they know themselves, you know? Yeah, so for me personally, I know I did not know myself well enough, and looking back, I can say that's a mistake that I made. And that's why right now I'm very intentional about getting to know myself and trying out different things and seeing what I like, so that I don't find myself in a situation again whereby I'm getting lost into someone else's life. The second thing that I learned from my experience is the importance of trusting your intuition. Guys, I know we've had this so many times, but I'm going to repeat it because it's something that I'm still learning. I'm still exercising my muscle, or rather, you know, like I feel like intuition is like a muscle. So the more you exercise it, the easier it becomes for you to be able to trust your gut. And yeah, I feel like for sure I ignored my gut a lot of times, guys. Like that, so many times that I just felt like, am I really sure about this? Is this really something that I want to do? Is this the direction that I want my life to go in with this particular person? I feel like there are actually 2 times that I broke off our engagement under the radar. It wasn't like announced or anything, and it's because I was just like questioning. There were just a lot of questions in my head, but I think at the time my mind was not very strong, and so when this person would say, you know, things will be different, things will be better, it was just so easy for me to just believe and just lean on to hope. Let me just say, I think hope is a very good thing, but I had someone say that hope is not a strategy, and I couldn't agree more. I feel like if your gut feeling is telling you something is just not it, no amount of like hope and, you know, like, and faith can change the outcome. Like for me, it did not change the outcome. And I think that in general in life, it's so important to just exercise that muscle and to learn how to just, you know, listen to your gut feeling. And it could apply to like so many things in life, whether it has something to do with choosing a partner, whether it's like to do with choosing a job, choosing even a house, investments, and all those things. So for sure, I feel like I do regret not listening to my gut instinct. I feel like I would have saved myself a lot of like trouble, and I would have dodged a lot of bullets. But yeah, we live and learn. That's what makes life. You know what I mean? So the third lesson that I learned is the importance again of having boundaries. I can say confidently that at that age, I know I had very weak boundaries for sure. And what that does is when you don't have boundaries, you allow and you accept a lot of disrespect, a lot of it. And mine was covered in also the fact that I was a bit of a people pleaser. A bit, you're lying. I was a people pleaser, professional one. And so I think that not having those boundaries and being a people pleaser really contributed to the kind of disrespect that I got and how I got treated in a like poorly, so to speak. And that again, that is like on me, because I see, there's a way I tend to see it. I feel like when someone doesn't have boundaries, you create an environment for you to actually be misused, used, abused, all those things, disrespected. And like that's something in your control. It was something in my control, because if I had boundaries and I reinforced those boundaries, there's no way people or this person would have treated me the way that they did. And yeah, for sure, I do regret not having strong boundaries then. But yeah, now I know better, and so now I'm doing better. That's what matters. The other thing that I learned the hard way is the importance again of having financial independence. Now, I think that different situations may warrant different approaches, but personally for me, what I saw is that a lack of financial independence can also create again an environment where there is disrespect. Of course, I also feel like it depends with someone, who they are as a person, their personality, their beliefs around money and whatnot. But for me, let me speak for myself. I just don't see myself ever being in a situation or like in a partnership whereby I completely don't have a source of income. I just think it's like it can be dangerous. I just think that it can be dangerous. Obviously not in all situations, because there are people who live like that and they live very well. But after what I experienced, I think I learned the hard way just the importance of having some form of financial independence. You don't even have to have like a lot of money, but for a start, you have to, like, it's just important to have something. I think it reduces a lot of like disrespect. It reduces the chances of things like financial abuse, you know. Basically, it's like, again, having that lack of financial independence can create an environment where, because you're fully depending on this person, you could create an environment again for misuse and abuse and all those things. And yeah, I just think, looking back, I had no business again getting married without having exercised my ability to make wealth. And yeah, it's not something that I would do again. In fact, I usually laugh at myself sometimes when I think about how somebody's son told me that I cannot work, and I just accepted, and I just believed, oh, it was the will of God for us, it was the will of God for me to not work. Hey, one day I'll tell you that story. But I just feel like, and of course I think there's a difference between someone can say you cannot work, then someone else can say you don't have to work. You know, like, I know people who say that for them, they don't feel like their partners have to work. Like, for example, if they are in a very bad job they don't like, you know, they are allowed to take the break and figure things out, but like, this person is not completely taking away your ability to make money, you know. And I just feel like that's something that I learned the hard way, and it's something that, like, I would never repeat again. I just feel like it's like really important to have that form of independence in one way or another. Even if you're not making a lot of money, but you're making some money that you can just call your own, I think it's like really, really important. And that's definitely something that I wish I knew, and I would have probably done things a bit differently. But again, as we're saying, we live and learn. Now we know, now we do better. Okay, yeah. The other lesson that I'd say that I learned the hard way is that you cannot change someone, guys. And I know this is something that we've probably heard time and time again, but I'm still gonna repeat it because I learned it the hard way, and I don't want you to have to learn it the hard way. You can't change another human being. The only person you can change is yourself. And I don't even think God himself changes people against their will. And that's why we have free will. So no amount of love, no amount of effort, no amount of prayers and hoping can change a person. They have to be willing to change, or to make certain changes in their lives for them to be able to change. And I just feel like I was so naive back then. And you know, those slogans, those Christian slogans of loving people back to life. Oh, that was my message, guys. That was my message, you know. And looking back, I'm just like, that's not something I'd ever do again. I feel like where I'm at right now in life, even when I'm meeting people, when I'm making friends, making acquaintances, you know, when it comes to work, when I'm dating people, I just don't go in with the energy of like, I can change another human being. The way you found them is the way you should just accept them. If you decide you still want to have this person in your life, you just have to accept the way they are and learn how to live with them the way they are. But putting in energy and effort to change another person, and you can't like explain yourself and try to show someone something that like they just can't see. It's just so impossible. And I think I wasted a lot of my energy. I think I wasted a lot of my time, obviously, trying to put in the effort to change someone and how they think and how they view life, and like even some of the simplest of things in, like, when we're talking about how you relate with people, how you treat people, I wasted a lot of that time and energy, and I should have been putting that energy in me, in myself, and making myself better, and growing. And so that now that I know better, I'm never again putting in energy and effort to change another person. That energy and effort, I'm going to put it into me, into changing me, into making me a better person, into growing and evolving and becoming the best version of myself. Yeah, so that's the lesson. That's another lesson that I learned. And another lesson that I learned the hard way, and I think I'm still, it's something that I'm still on a journey on, is that your faith and your relationship with God is extremely personal. Don't allow like outside influences or outside voices to determine whether your relationship with God is real or not. I feel like I did a lot of that in my 20s, and even during that period when I was married and also in a relationship with this person, whereby I allowed them to determine whether like I was in a real relationship with God or not, because they'd make comments about like my relationship with God maybe not being as strong as it needs to be or whatever, which looking back I'm just like, why was I listening to that kind of crap? Why was I listening to that? Because at the end of the day, my relationship with God is completely personal, and I'm still on a journey of unlearning and learning a lot of things when it comes to how I want to build my relationship with God and nurture my relationship with God. It's something that I'll talk about in another video, because personally for me, having a relationship with God is just so central to also who I am as a person. I feel like, and I'll talk about this more, like I just don't remember a time in my life where I've just not known God or had a relationship with Him. So I don't know my life without God. I just don't know. I don't know my life without God. And I just feel really bad that I allowed myself during my 20s to have other outside influences manipulate and try to control how my relationship with God should look like, because I'm just like, who are they to even try and control my relationship with God, And it's actually a bit sad, because I feel like a lot of churches do preach, and just generally Christianity in general will preach that, your relationship with God is very personal, but then at the same time, someone will try to like control how you do that relationship with God. That does not even make sense, because why then are you saying it's a personal relationship? You know what I mean? So definitely that's another lesson that I learned the hard way, and now I'm very intentional about just building a relationship with God where I feel like, this is working for us, because that's what matters at the end of the day. And I think those are the lessons that I learned. And I think just to close this video, I'd say that you are definitely not defined by your past, whatever that may look like. For me, it's divorce. For someone else, it might be something different, an experience that you went through that kind of like distorted maybe even your worldview, how you see people, how you see God, how you see life in general. Divorce or even any delays in personal growth, it doesn't really define your worth. If anything, I think we can see them as stepping stones towards a brighter future, towards a more evolved version of you. And then also when it comes to healing, please give yourself grace, and also heal at your own pace and time. Don't rush anything, but also at the same time be very careful not to dwell like in a victim mentality, and definitely not dwell in misery for too long, because then that can keep you stuck in a really bad headspace for a very long time, and we do not want that. So as much as you're giving yourself time and you're allowing yourself to heal at your own pace, have people or systems in place that can be able to make sure that you're actually moving and you're not staying in one place when it comes to your healing. And with that, this video has come to an end. I hope you've learned something, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Stay tuned. Bye.